Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins after the end of the world, and we see that the world is destroyed and ruined everywhere. In this desolate world, we see a cat eating from the remains of a person, but there is another person hiding nearby. At the right moment, he shoots the cat with an arrow and captures it. This person is later revealed to be named Eli. Eli then takes the cat he captured and continues his journey, wandering here and there until he reaches an abandoned house. He enters the house and searches for anything useful but finds nothing. While searching, he finds a person who had committed suicide in the house. Despite the gruesome sight, Eli remains unaffected. He only takes the shoes of the deceased as they are in better condition than his own, which have worn out from overuse. Afterward, Eli cooks the cat he captured and begins eating it. Once finished, he listens to some songs on his old cassette player. He then reads from a book he has. After completing his tasks, Eli sleeps. The next day, he continues his journey westward. It is revealed that Eli is heading west to deliver the book he has to a particular place. As Eli continues his journey, he encounters a woman sitting on the roadside. The woman asks Eli to help fix her car, which is carrying some items. But Eli quickly realizes it's a trap. He tells the woman's accomplices to reveal themselves, and indeed, 6 men appear. It becomes clear that they are a gang using the woman to lure people like Eli to rob them. The gang leader politely asks Eli to hand over his bag, but Eli refuses. The leader gets angry and pushes Eli, who warns him not to touch him again or he will cut off his hand. Thinking Eli is bluffing, the leader touches him again, and Eli swiftly cuts off his hand. The leader, now in shock, orders his men to kill Eli. However, Eli fights them off with incredible combat skills, taking them all down. Finally, Eli kills the leader and continues his journey westward as if nothing had happened. While walking, Eli sees a couple on the road. Suddenly, a gang on motorcycles attacks them, killing the man and assaulting the woman. They rob her and leave. Eli witnesses all of this but does not intervene. After the gang leaves, Eli resumes his journey. Along the way, he comes across a small town. Despite the world's end, this town still has many people living together. Eli enters a shop in the town and asks the owner to charge his cassette player, which has run out of battery. The owner agrees in exchange for a lighter. The owner informs Eli that charging the player will take more than 2 hours and suggests he wait at a nearby bar. Eli refuses and stays in the shop. While waiting, Eli notices the motorcycle gang from earlier entering the bar across the street. He becomes uneasy but does nothing. We then follow the gang, led by a man named Martz. Martz and his men meet with a man named Bill, who seems to be the leader of the town. It is revealed that Martz and his gang rob people and bring the stolen goods to Bill in exchange for food and drinks. Bill has tasked them with finding a specific book, but since they can't read, they bring him any book. Bill is disappointed that they haven't found the book he wants, but allows them to stay in the town for the night and continue their search tomorrow. Martz gives Bill a bottle of shampoo which he stole, and Bill is delighted as shampoo has become rare. Bill takes the bottle to a blind woman, who we learn is his captive, though he seems to have some affection for her. He washes her hair with the shampoo. Meanwhile, Eli grows tired of waiting and leaves his cassette player with the shop owner to go to the bar for water. At the bar, he meets a worker who takes his bottle to fill it with water. The worker hands the bottle to a girl named Solara, who also lives in the town. Solara is revealed to be the blind woman's daughter and is also under Bill's control. Solara goes to a secret location to fill the bottle with water. Back at the bar, Martz confronts Eli, trying to provoke him because he sees Eli as a stranger and wants to rob him. Eli warns Martz to stay away, but Martz doesn't listen. Eli fights Martz and defeats him. Martz's men then attack Eli, but Eli fights them off in a powerful scene, killing them all. Solara intervenes, asking Eli to stop, and he complies. Bill's men, led by his assistant, arrive and capture Eli, taking him to Bill to decide his fate. When Bill meets Eli, he senses that Eli is different and asks if he can read. Eli confirms that he can read very well. Bill is pleased and reveals his plan to rule not just the town, but the entire world. He wants educated and strong people like Eli to join him. Bill is searching for a specific book that he believes will help him achieve his goal. However, Eli is uninterested and insists on continuing his journey westward. Bill, though disappointed, invites Eli to stay in the town for the night and reconsider his offer. This room, he locks himself in it and leaves someone to guard him. The one who stayed in the room didn't spend much time before the blind woman, Solara's mother, came to him. She brought him dinner, left it, and walked away. After that, Solara's mother went to sit with Bill, and she told him that this man doesn't seem like he will work with him. Bill told her he already knew that, and that's why he'll send Solara to him. Maybe that would entice him to stay and work with them. At that point, Solara's mother objected to using her daughter and begged Bill not to do it, but Bill was adamant and decided to send Solara anyway. After a while, the man in the room was reading the book he had with him, which we now know is one of the religious books, specifically the Bible, which has almost disappeared. Because when science was destroyed, all the books were destroyed along with it. That's why the man is very protective of the book, and he doesn't want anyone to know he has it until he delivers it to the West. While the man was busy reading, Solara came to him. He hid the book and let her in. Solara revealed that she came under Bill's orders for him to do whatever he wanted with her. But the man refused because it's sinful, and he decided to send Solara away. However, Solara begged him not to send her away because if Bill found out, he would torture her and hurt her. Solara's plight moved the man, so he decided to let her stay for another day so Bill wouldn't suspect anything. The interesting part is that Solara managed to see the book Eli had, but Eli hid it from her. Since Solara couldn't read, she didn't know what kind of book it was. She sat with Eli to eat, and before eating, Eli prayed with her using the prayers from the Bible, of course. The next day, Solara went to have breakfast with Bill and her mother. During breakfast, she held her mother's hand and started praying with her before eating, just as Eli had taught her. At that moment, Bill lost his mind, realizing that Solara learned this from Eli. He figured out that Eli had the Bible, the very book Bill was searching for, because he believed he could use it to rule the entire world as he dreamed. So, Bill started beating Solara's mother to force her to confess if Eli had the book. Solara confessed that Eli indeed had the book. Bill became furious and went with his men and Solara's mother to Eli's room to take the book from him. But they found the room empty because Eli had escaped. Enraged, Bill killed the guard who was supposed to watch Eli. At that moment, Eli was with the man who charged his recorder, took it, and left. But Bill and his men caught up with him and cornered him. Bill spoke to Eli, and from their conversation, we learned that a war had destroyed the world in the past, and in that war, almost all religious books were burned. Now, the Bible has become a legend, and no one knows its content. Bill wanted the book to use religion as a tool to control the world, but Eli told him that the book shouldn't be in his hands and should be kept in a place where it can truly be preserved for future generations. That's why he refused to give the book to Bill. Of course, Bill didn't accept this and ordered his men to kill Eli, but Eli fought back, killing many of them, even though he got injured in his leg. He managed to leave the place elegantly. While Eli was walking away, Solara caught up with him and told him she wanted to accompany him on his journey. She believed that being with him was significant, but Eli refused because the journey was too dangerous for her, and her presence would increase the danger for both of them. Solara pleaded with him to take her along, but Eli insisted on his refusal. Then Solara told him she could lead him to Bill's secret spring where he got his water. She proposed that he take as much water as he needed for his journey in exchange for taking her with him. Eli agreed, and Solara led him to the spring, where he filled his containers. Afterward, they left the spring together. But then Eli tricked Solara by telling her that he had dropped his glasses near the spring and asked her to retrieve them. Trusting him, Solara went back, and Eli locked her inside the spring. He told her he did this because she couldn't join him on his journey, as it was too dangerous for her. Then he left. However, Solara managed to escape after a while, and we see her walking west, hoping to meet Eli and join him on his journey. The problem is that on her way, she encountered the con woman who worked with the gang that Eli met earlier. The woman was sitting and asked Solara for help. When Solara approached to help, two men working with the woman appeared. They dragged Solara and tried to assault her, but thankfully, Eli arrived in time, killed the two men, and continued on his way. This time, he decided to take Solara with him, so they continued their journey together. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Bill with his men and his injured leg being treated. Bill told his men that they must find the book because he wanted to use it to spread religion among people. Of course, people would think of him as a prophet and follow him, making it easy for him to rule the world. He promised his men that he would help them achieve their goals in return. After a while, Bill, his men, and his vehicles moved west to catch up with Eli and Solara. On their way, they found the two men Eli had just killed, which made them happy because it meant they were getting closer to Eli and Solara. As for Eli and Solara, they kept walking until night fell, and they entered a cave to rest and sleep. But Eli didn't sleep. He stayed up reading the book as usual. This inspired Solara, who asked Eli about the book, how he got it, and whether he read it every day. Eli explained to her that at the start of the war that destroyed the world, all the religious books were burned, as he had mentioned before. He told her that during that time he started hearing a voice in his head that guided him to the book. Eli followed the voice's instructions and eventually found the book. At that moment, he realized that the voice was something like divine inspiration guiding him to the book. He also told her that the voice instructed him to take the book west to ensure its safety. That's why he had been trying for years to deliver the book west. He revealed that since finding it, he had been reading it every day without fail, to the point where he had almost memorized it. He then began to recite some verses from the book to her. At the door of the house, but before they open it, they fall into a trap, and the owners of the house arrive, who turn out to be an elderly couple named George and his wife Marcia. Eli and Solara find out that George and Marcia live in the house in the town, and they ask them what they want. Eli tells them they were just looking for shelter, nothing more. George and Marcia seem to warm up to them, so they let them into their house, make them tea, and everything seems fine. The problems start when George tells Eli and Solara that many people tried to come and steal from the house, but they killed them. George takes them and shows them graves he dug, where he buried anyone who tried to steal from the house. At this moment, Eli notices there are a lot of graves and realizes that George and Marcia's hands are trembling. Eli understands that George and Marcia didn't just kill those people but also ate them, making them cannibals. Eli realizes they plan to kill and eat him and Solara, so he manages to subdue them and takes Solara to leave. But before they can escape, Carnegie, Redridge, and their men arrive at the house. They return to the house and unite with George and Marcia, engaging in a gunfight with Carnegie's men. Amid the chaos, George and Marcia are killed, and Carnegie's men manage to capture Eli and Solara. Carnegie demands the book from Eli, but Eli refuses to reveal its location. Carnegie threatens to kill Solara, so Eli gives in and tells them where the book is hidden in the house. Redridge retrieves the book and gives it to Carnegie, who is overjoyed to finally have the book, believing it will allow him to rule the world as he dreams. Since Carnegie no longer needs Eli, he shoots him in a silent scene, takes Solara and the book, and leaves with his men, leaving Eli bleeding and dying. Meanwhile, Solara is in a car with Redridge and another man. She manages to use a rope to strangle the other man, who was driving, causing the car to flip over. Solara escapes unharmed, but Redridge is injured, with a knife lodged in his heart. Before Solara leaves, Redridge gets out of the car and dies in the street. Solara takes the car and drives back to find Eli. Meanwhile, Carnegie, who has lost all his men except his driver, returns to his bar with the book. He brings in someone to unlock the book, as it was locked, and Carnegie couldn't open it. The man successfully unlocks the book, but Carnegie is shocked to discover that the book is written in Braille. Since Carnegie is not blind and doesn't know how to read Braille, he cannot read the book. Carnegie tries to get Solara's blind mother to read the book, but she refuses, taking out all her anger on him. With no men left to protect him, Carnegie is left powerless, and the townspeople, who despise him, begin looting his bar. Carnegie watches in shock as his bar is ransacked, realizing his downfall. Meanwhile, Solara continues her journey and eventually finds Eli, who, despite being gravely injured and dying, is determined to reach the west. Solara helps him, and they continue their journey until they reach a destroyed road with nothing ahead but the sea. They take a boat and continue west, eventually reaching an island where they encounter armed people. The people on the island question Eli and Solara, and Eli introduces himself, revealing that he has the Bible. The people take them to the island, where Eli discovers a group dedicated to rebuilding the world. The leader of the group tells Eli they are collecting and reprinting all religious and literary books to restore them to humanity and bring back true teachings. Eli reveals that he has memorized the Bible and begins dictating it to the leader, who writes it down. Eventually, the Bible is completed, printed, and added to the collection of religious books. After fulfilling his mission and delivering the Bible to the West, Eli succumbs to his injuries and dies, being buried on the island. Solara bids him farewell and decides to leave the island. It's not clear where she goes, but it's assumed she returns to her mother to live with and protect her. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video.